Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I'm going to take a first look and page through Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory Litanies of the Lost from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. And we'll get started right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, today I'm going to be taking a look at Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory Litanies of the Lost in just a moment. But first, I do want to mention we're in the midst of the Gaming Gang October Spooktacular 2021. And that means each and every day you're going to find a brand new tabletop gaming related video over at thegaminggang.com. Now, it could be a first look like this video or a review, or if it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, it's an episode of my live stream, The Gaming Gang Dispatch, where I bring you first looks at tabletop games, as well as the latest tabletop gaming news. And also at 9 p.m. Central each and every evening during the month of October, swing on by thegaminggang.com as I'm going to be hosting spooky old-time radio episodes, which are sure to put a chill down your spine. So if you're looking for some Halloween fun, come on by thegaminggang.com. That said, today I am taking a first look at Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory Litanies of the Lost from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. It's written by Zach Dale Clutterbuck and Elaine Lithgow, with artwork provided by Bartholomew Fejicek, Daniel Kovacs, Sam Manley, J.G. O'Donohue, Aaron H. Ray, and Jamie Noble. And I guarantee I've mispronounced some folks' names there, and I do apologize. This 144-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $39.99. That does include the PDF. But if you want only the PDF, you can grab that over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. I believe right now, as of this recording, it is on sale for $15.99. I do not know how long that will be continuing on. So let's swing on over to the other camera because here I have Litanies of the Lost. So first off, do want to point out my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment has provided me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. And these days, it's very, very important for you to know that. Also, this is an adventure book. There are 4 adventures within. And if you are a player and you're hoping that your game master is going to run Litanies of Lost, then I would definitely recommend tuning on out now. I have not looked in this book. This first look is really a first look. I haven't even taken a peek at the back of this book yet. But here there be spoilers. We are going to see some spoilers within. So it's important if you're planning on enjoying these adventures as a player, go check out one of the over 1,000 other videos here on the channel. Lastly, I'm going to stay up here, upper corner. So I'll be picture in picture. That means I am going to be cutting off the upper left-hand portion of this book. I am not going to share every page of this either. I just want to give you a feel for what's in this book, not exactly what is in this book. Let's take a look at the back. Oh my gosh. I'd say that font's kind of small. 4 grim adventures in the darkness of Imperium Nihilus. Bathed in the corrupt light of the Great Rift, the Gilead system is rife with peril. Vile Xenos assail humanity from all sides. Interscene strife between the factions of the Imperium threaten a catastrophic civil war and demonic entities penetrate reality from Ciratrix Maledictum. Discover devious plots and unravel murderous mysteries amongst feuding faiths on the agro world of Ostia. Investigate tech heresy, mechanical misdemeanors, and arcane rituals amongst the manufactura of the forge world Avacarus. Protect the holy shrine world of Enoch from enemies without and traitors within. Litanies of Lost contains 4 exciting scenarios suitable for Wrath and Glory characters of tiers 1 and 2. These can be played as entertaining standalone adventures or combined into a perilous planet hopping campaign that highlights the political strife and myriad dangers present in the Gilead system. And then it tells us about each of the adventures, but we're going to just jump on in. Do want to also mention that you may have seen my first look at the Forsaken System guidebook, which these adventures are taking place in that as well. All right, let's pop on in here. So one thing I want to mention, and I talk about this a little bit when I'm taking a peek at Wrath and Glory releases or doing reviews of Wrath and Glory releases, is that I like this system. I like the backstory to it. I like what's going on. I know there are some folks out there who aren't completely sold on this. You know, all these different factions are cut off and they really have to cooperate together in order to survive. I get that. You're taking your fluff very seriously. I understand. What I would recommend is if you have not taken a look at Wrath and Glory from Cubicle 7 Entertainment, go over to DriveThruRPG, get yourself the free quick start. There's also a free introductory adventure as well. Take a peek at those. You might be surprised. You might be very pleasantly surprised. And if it's not your, cup of tea, it's not your bag of tricks, that's fine. Let's jump on in here. Welcome to Litanies of Lost, a collection of 4 perilous adventures for Wrath and Glory across the grim worlds of the Gilead system. Each of the adventures can be played standalone, yes, or linked together as a campaign. So we have Grim Harvest, Vow of Silence, Dark Bidding, and Duty Beyond Death. So Grim Harvest. Ostia is the only aggro world in the Gilead system, vital for feeding its teeming, forsaken billions. It is defended from without by the Crown of Blades, network of defensive satellites, orbital batteries, and space stations, but they are useless against planet-side problems. So Grim Harvest begins with an open-ended investigation intended to engage your players with the various factions of the 41st millennium. Vow of Silence. A mighty patron requests the agents investigate suspicions of heresy at a silent monastery. Unfortunately, the uncommunicative nature of the monks is far from their only obstacle, as a crew of orc commandos misplaced by the Great Rift have infiltrated the monastery and taken over. Vow of Silence is a stealth-focused, site-based scenario revolving around exploring an imperial monastery that features several opportunities for investigation and role-playing. Dark Bidding. The Inquisition have loaned an ancient stasis coffin of mysterious providence to the machine cults of Avacarus. I guess it's Avacarus, in the hopes that the tech ghouls of the Adeptus Mechanicus can divine its secrets. Archdominus Vacul is due to return the stasis coffin to the Inquisition, but she has a problem. Someone has stolen the architect relic, and there are plenty of suspects. Dark Bidding is an investigative chase through the underbelly of the Forge world Avacarus to recover a stolen stasis coffin. What, I can't read English tonight? What's going on? Duty Beyond Death. Servitors are an essential resource in the warped Forsaken Gilead system. Augmentically enhanced and mind-wiped humans serve as a tireless force produced by the Petheritus Malefictorum. Okay, on Avancris. So they're back on that planet again. Says Death Beyond Duty is a site-focused scenario revolving around exploring the mechanical bowels of an Adeptus Mechanicus Servitor Malefictorum with the goal of unraveling and resolving the mystery of what happened. All right, so here we've got Grim Harvest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just jump ahead a few pages at a time, so we're not going to take a look at each and every page, as I had mentioned before. So first off, I'm going to point out the paper stock of this book is very nice. It is not super thin, but I always point out these European role-playing game books from a variety of different manufacturers, including Cubicle 7 Entertainment, are always really well done, always top-notch. The Valley of Ankra, The Lord of Dawn. We'll see what we've got as far as artwork throughout. So this hardcover clocks in at 144 pages. So that essentially means we're probably looking about 40 pages in adventure, plus, of course, we've got some handouts. We've probably got a bestiary in back, some NPCs, things like that. So this is the Grain World. Part 1, Plant the Seed. If you are not familiar with Warhammer 40K, Roleplay, Wrath and Glory, it is kind of a set piece sort of role-playing game. Not a ton of sandbox adventures, but that's not necessarily unusual. And we do see more modern role-playing games do adopt kind of the set piece based adventuring as opposed to, say, old school sort of role-playing games that tend to be more sandbox-ish. So we've got a few different parts. I'm a big fan of Cubicle 7 Entertainment role-playing games. I really, really enjoy Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I think that's a blast. All right, so here we've got some NPC stat blocks here. Nice artwork. So we've got a handout there as well. Tying it all together. So we have Vow of Silence. This is where the player characters are investigating the monastery. Or we've got some orcs who are going to be a problem as well. This looks a little less of a point-by-point sort of set piece. Might be a little. I understand this is kind of a stealth-based adventure, so this might be, as weird as it sounds, might be structured more along the lines of kind of almost like a dungeon delve would be. Yes, and I know Wrath and Glory is not a fantasy role-playing game, but game masters out there probably know what I mean by saying kind of a dungeon delve-ish sort of adventure. And then we're going to get into some stat blocks there as well, and then tying it all together, wrapping up the adventure. And we got Dark Bidding. This sounds kind of interesting, where you're exploring the underbelly of a forge world, trying to find that stasis coffin. Just looks like this is kind of a set piece based adventure. Looks like we've got some different factions. I love faction play and role playing games. The Enemy of My Enemy, which is kind of the underlying theme of Wrath and Glory. That's why you have these different factions who would be at each other's throats or hate each other and are just, like Xenos, right? And the Imperium. But you got the forces of chaos, so the enemy of my enemy. So tying all that together, and then we have the fourth adventure, Duty Beyond Death. So we got a summary here. It looks like this might end up being the longest of the adventures. It's like we've got 6 parts to it. Running the adventure. One thing that I see with a lot of Cubicle 7 Entertainment role-playing adventure releases is there's always a ton of really good info for the game master to make their life a bit easier. Usability wise, sometimes the books aren't put together with usability like number one, but they're not a complete mess like some role-playing game releases might be. All right, taking a peek on through here. Yeah, I do think that this is the longest of the adventures. This is part 4, part 5. Then we got the epilogues. So here was part 6 was over here. And we get into stat blocks. Tying it all together, the finale of the adventure. So we do not have an appendix or a bestie or anything like that. All those stat blocks are located within the adventures themselves, which actually does make for much better usability than having them all tossed into the back. And we wrap up with some ads for some of Cubicle 7's very cool role-playing games. There's good old Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay as well. Soulbound is a really epic, kind of high-level fantasy role-playing where your player characters are pretty powerful right off the get-go. So that is Soulbound as well. All right, so there we have Warhammer 40K Roleplay Wrath and Glory, Litanies of the Lost. Yeah, that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Once again, the 144-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $39.99, which includes the PDF, or you can grab just the PDF itself over at DriveThruRPG for normally $19.99. It is on sale right now as I record this for $15.99. All right, that's it for this time out. Keep in mind, I'll have a review in the very near future. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Not only to find out when I upload videos such as this, but also to learn when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for stopping by and giving the video a watch. And until I see you next time, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.